All right, so welcome to today's session. Thank you so much for signing up. My name is Melanie, and I will be one of your trainers for today, joined by Janet, who will be introducing herself shortly. Just to make sure you're in the right space, this is a webinar around unlocking the power of AI when it comes to digital marketing. So if you're in the wrong place, feel free to drop off, but if you're in the right place, feel free to stay on. So as mentioned, my name is Melanie Hapisu Wambugu. I am the founder and CEO of a digital marketing agency called DigiPath Africa, and I'll be one of your trainers today. I have experienced quite an interesting journey in the digital marketing space, so it's nice to be alive when we have AI, and I'm looking forward to just passing down the knowledge that I've gained around digital marketing and AI as well through this period. So with me, I have Janet, who will also be training us today. Janet, over to you. Feel free to say hello to guys and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. It's so lovely to have you around. It's so lovely to be here as well. I'm Janet. I am a digital marketing expert and AI integration expert as well. And the AI part we're going to speak about in a little bit. That's why we're here. I'm super excited to be here and I cannot wait to unpack whatever we have packed for you. Stay tuned for whatever is coming. Back to you, Melanie.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. We're really excited for the session. Disclaimer from the very beginning, for those who've joined us in, we will be having an amazing gift for you at the end. So feel free to stay until the end to grab that gift. In addition to that, feel free to ask questions at whatever point. If you have a question, before you forget, type it in the chat. You can either send it in private, if you'd like, to Janet and myself, or you can just post it in the chat where everyone will see, depending on what makes you comfortable. For now, everybody will be muted until Q&A time, when we'll allow you to speak. You feel free to raise your hand, or maybe not even during Q&A time. At some point, we'll be able to engage people. So if you'd like to contribute, feel free to do it on the chat, or feel free to raise your hand, just to make sure we're not having people unmuting and funny noises behind the scenes. So with that, I will go over and start the program. I can see we have a few people in the chat who've also introduced themselves. Thank you for introducing yourself and saying hello. Guys, feel free to keep doing that. You never know who's on this call. You never know where your next client could come for. So feel free to introduce yourself, and feel free to also let us know if you have any questions you'd like to ask. So to start us off, when we were coming up with this webinar, we kept asking ourselves, how can we deliver it in the best way possible to ensure that guys get lots of value in the shortest time? So as you may notice, when you are signing up, we said we'll focus on some 6 key areas in the digital marketing space, not to mean that those are the only ones that exist. In case you're new to digital marketing, there's a lot more, but we just thought, for purposes of it being impactful, we'll talk about AI from a social media perspective, influencer perspective, sponsored marketing, email, SEO, and finally, mobile marketing. So I hope you enjoyed the session. So to start us off, how many of us open up messages that come from companies, the bulk SMSs? Or maybe if I can phrase my question better, do you actually open bulk or marketing messages that are sent by companies? Let's see some reactions. If you open, give me a thumbs up or write in the chat yes. If you don't, give me a thumbs down or write in the chat no. And if you'd like, I'd be curious to know why. Maybe you can write why in one word. So for example, I open, so yes, curiosity. What about you? Let's hear from a few people in the chat. I can see a few thumbs up, so there are a couple of yeses. Feel free to share why as well. I can see some no's as well coming in. I'll repeat the question for those who just joined in. Do you open the promotional or marketing or bulk messages that companies send? Why or why not? If yes, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if no. Or you can also type in the chat, yes, and your reason, or no, and your reason. I can see a couple of people typing in. We have a couple of yeses. Nice. I'm seeing people saying mostly because of curiosity. Someone else is saying once in a while, but mostly no. just to see what it entails. Someone else says it depends on the brand. Someone else says they're not personalized to my need at the moment. I like that. Lots of interesting reasons. So why exactly am I asking that? Because then you find that many companies use that as a form of marketing. But the question is, does it actually work? And are there ways to actually ensure that it works? And I'm sure you're seated and wondering, okay, AI, mobile marketing, how exactly are we going to make this make sense? So when it comes to AI, for today's session, the tool we'll majorly focus on is ChatGPT, which I'm sure many of us have heard of as an AI tool that people use. So we may not go very deep into it, but just for introduction purposes, to get you curious and knowing some more, that's what we'll use for the demo purposes. And so when I think of mobile marketing, one of the things that discourages lots of people from opening is because sometimes the messages are very long, very boring, sometimes not relevant. I've seen someone saying it's not personalized to them. And to the end, or probably stopping at a specific section. So just give me a minute, guys. I've gotten an internet warning. Just bear with me. My power just went, so I had to switch to hotspot. But I hope you can hear me. If you can. Sorry, guys. I'm now back properly. If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up. Apologies, I had to switch to hotspot. I've just lost power. Please confirm if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Apologies for that. So I was just saying, sometimes what can make a big difference when it comes to people opening your message or not could be something as little as personalizing, reducing the text or something like that. And one of the main uses that most people are using most people are using AI for at the moment when it comes to digital marketing is for text-based requests. And so speaking of text-based requests, mobile marketing is an aspect that actually requires text. So for the next few minutes, I'll share my screen. And what I'd like us to do, I want us to improve a message I received earlier today from a
Let's give Melanie a moment. Let me reach to her and see what's going on. In the moment, please hold for a moment. Anyone who's joining, welcome. Hold on, just a moment, please. Apologies for the inconvenience.
Apologies, guys. I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm back now. So I was just saying ChatGPT is a platform that ideally, just like it sounds, you chat with. So if you can see my screen in a minute, I'm just going to share that. You'll notice that it ideally looks like a box where you'll be able to type in and have a chat with ChatGPT. So as you can see here, it's already asking me, what can I help with? So why exactly have I come to this as a tool? For me, I feel like one, this is the easiest. Two, most people are using it right now. So for demo purposes, that's what we thought to use. So if you look at this screen, the request I want it to work on right now is I have this message. Allow me to just paste it. This is what I received from the company that I'm talking about for mobile marketing. So they've said, good morning, this is Koro, your easy solution for instant loans. Get up to 200,000 to your M-Pesa in minutes with flexible top-ups and extensions. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Say hello to easy lending with Koro. Koro is a part of Zenka Digital Limited. Download now. So for some people, they may open or read this message, take action, but for some, they will not. What am I trying to tell you in a few minutes? Whatever you post on ChatGPT can be improved in one way or another. But depending on what makes different people get different results, what you actually type into this box. In most times, you'll hear people call it a prompt. Think of a prompt like what you write on Google. So if you're searching for something, the way Melanie will Google versus the way Janet will Google will be a little bit different, but we all anticipate to get the same results. So for example, on this box here, I could decide to tell ChatGPT, help me improve the message below to be more actionable, enticing, and straight to the point. So I could decide it's as simple as that. Someone else may come and say, I want you to make this message less boring, more exciting, more what. So depending on what type, different people may get results. So for demo purposes, I just want you to see how you can use ChatGPT for mobile marketing to help you improve the messages you come up with, or even to help you come up with a message from scratch. But for now, let's deal with improvement. So if I click the enter button, it goes ahead to display an improved version of the message for me. So if you were to compare the first message versus the second one, allow me to reduce my screen so that you can see both messages at once. I'd like you guys to tell me, which one are you likely to take an action on if you are looking for a loan? Feel free to write in the chat, first one or second one. Which one are you likely to take action on? Let me try reduce my screen again so that you can see everything. Let me know in the chat, first one or second one? Can see people saying second. Let's hear from a few more people, first or second. Which one are you likely to take action on? Nice, I can see a lot of seconds. So already you can see it's improved the message in a certain way. I'm not saying that nobody would open the first message. There are people who open all messages, or this would be more enticing for them. But when you're marketing, you need to remember that you're marketing to the majority. So feel free to use a simple tool like ChatGPT to help you improve your marketing messages. Already, I'm sure some of us are on this call and you're opening up your mind and saying, okay, I can use it for mobile marketing. Maybe I can also use it for social media captions. Maybe I can also use it for email. We're going to be talking about more of that in a few minutes. But just to start us off, I thought to give that example. What's the point? Sometimes it doesn't mean that you need to fully rely on ChatGPT to help you come up with everything from scratch, but you could also do things from scratch using your own head and then use ChatGPT to help you actually improve it. We are in a world where personalization matters. In as much as you're marketing to everybody, we all want to feel as if you are talking to just us. You can tell ChatGPT exactly that. I want you to be as human as possible, make this as personalized as possible in as much as we are not
Hey, Hi everyone. I don't know what's going on with Melanie's network today, but please bear with her. Let me, can you hear me? I think I'm audible. Okay, yes, you can hear me. Okay, so I think, okay, great. It's great to get the feedback. Okay, she's going to come back in a while, but I think before she comes back, we're going to just have to go to the next section where I'm going to take you. And before we even go, I need to give you a disclaimer. I love reactions a lot, so I'm going to keep asking you to give me a reaction in form of a an emoji or something. So be ready to react because I know that I need to know that I'm working with you here. Okay, so the next thing about AI is about social media. Of course, that's among the six things that we're supposed to discuss today. And this is super important for everybody using the internet today. And this is especially because everybody is using social media in a way or the other. Wherever you got this event from, it's either WhatsApp or LinkedIn or, somewhere in social media. So because there is so much content going by at all times on social media, you need to use AI to help you streamline the content creation process. And these days, in this day and age, people speak about content creation like it's something so easy, but when you actually need to create content every other day repetitively for kind of like a year or more, because creating a brand requires a lot of consistency, you're going to realize that creating content can be super boring and it can be a lot to think about. And you need AI to help you with that. So again, we're going to use ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT a lot because I find it easy to use, but of course, I also use others. But for the sake of the demo, we're going to use ChatGPT. And I'm going to show you something. It's like let's say a before and after of how my captions were some time back before I started using AI. That's some like 4 years ago before ChatGPT was introduced in the first place. So I'm going to show you how that was. And I am also going to show you how you can use AI to make them better. But you need to know that this is still not the most refined way of creating prompts, right? I can see people joining. Welcome, welcome. I love seeing people joining. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you an example of my what is this? My old captions. I made these captions in, that's actually 3 years ago. That's in 2021. So hold on. Let me open okay, great. Hold on. Um, give me a moment, please. I want to confirm that this is the correct thing to share. Okay. Tell me if you're seeing my screen. I think you are, but you can confirm. I think you can see this if your baby wasn't making tears at all. So can I please see some reactions? React with anything. I warned you I'm going to ask for reactions. Let me see if you're seeing something. Okay, so let's move on. So this is the first caption we're going to use as an example. So I have these four. They're from two different brands. And one of them is actually Melanie's brand. So I started working with her then. So these are some of them that I did for her brand, for her company. And let's use this example. If your baby wasn't making tears at all, their eyes would probably be irritated, red, and dry. Therefore, you need to not panic if you fail to see tears dropping from your little one while crying. Tears only start, blah, 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 blah. You can see all that kind of stuff. So I like to just do that, just copy. Okay, kind of like just put your thoughts down there. Okay, if what you're thinking, just write it there. So this is what I was thinking, because I didn't have AI to help me. So this just came from my head. So just write what you're thinking, and then you come to ChatGPT, and then you paste that. So here is the prompt. I'm going to take you quickly because of time, but let's just start by telling it something like, please refine, hold on. Please refine this prompt, but before we get there, I need to, hold on, jeez. Let me copy that prompt somewhere. So I want to just try it because this is something I've done before. I don't want to type everything. So let's do this. Let's say I have a caption idea for, so that's the, I think you can see my screen. Yeah. So say I have a caption idea, something like that. And then maybe something like make it sound more refined. So down here, we could come here with something like that. Just a very short thing to tell you, just like make it better, make what I'm writing more refined and more schemable, because these days people like to read short things, and there you go. So imagine this is how much you can do for just a caption, and this is with just such a basic prompt. So I guess this is where I take it back to Melanie and tell her to go to the next step, because of course the more detailed parts, that's where we're going to get in the actual training. But this is just one prompt that you could borrow, this first line and this last one. So over to you, Melanie.
Amazing. Maybe Janet, if you can see it, just to ask a question. Maybe from your experience with using ChatGPT, what would you say is better? Do you feel like your captions are more refined now, like maybe using the example you've given us? Or do you feel like you'd rather do it from scratch without ChatGPT? Maybe just share a bit about your experience when it comes to that.
Honestly speaking, AI sounds very similar to, like, AI is AI. So sometimes when you overuse it, everything sounds so monotonous. So usually what I find very helpful with using ChatGPT or any AI app that I decide to use, because usually I use apps, I just like to use it for the sake of helping me type. Otherwise, I'm still going to get back to that and refine it better to make it sound more like me and less like a robot, because at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Amazing. If you don't mind, can I just make you do one more prompt, just based on the response it's given? Do you
Yes,
mind asking ChatGPT if that caption would drive people to take an action?
sure thing. I love that question. So please come again with the question.
So we're asking ChatGPT, based on what it's produced, could it tell
Yeah.
us the caption would get people to take an action or convert, something like that?
If the caption above would make my target audience converse. Could you please tell me if the caption above would, let's see what it says. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Amazing.
It's so all round. Look at that.
Nice. So the reason why I asked you to do that, Janet, maybe just as a
Yes.
yeah, you can go to the top where we have strengths. One thing I recently realized, when you ask ChatGPT a question like that, it actually does it all around. It will talk about what are the strengths, how can you improve it, and actually end up giving you an updated version. So in case we have anyone on the call who's been wondering, how far, can I take it when it comes to using ChatGPT to improve whatever it is I'm working on, not necessarily captions, but in this case, captions, this is what to expect. I think one thing I really love about this output, specifically this last one, in addition to what you did, is that even when I'm starting off as a marketer, I'm able to know what to improve. Or even as an experienced marketer, I'm actually able to know why captions I was using before were not converting and how I can help them, help to improve them and make them convert some more. So guys, let's see some thoughts. What do you think? In one word, how are you feeling after what you've seen just a minute ago? Let's see some words in the chat as we go to the next category. So thanks for that, Janet. Closely related to social media marketing, and the reason why we did this area of improvement sort of prompt is because many people then who are using AI, specifically ChatGPT, when it comes to their social media marketing, just think of it as being a tool to write and give you output rather than being, let me call it a friend, to help you get insights, to help you improve on what you're working on and so on and so forth. So already you can see if this is just from a text perspective, what if it was from a numbers perspective? Then a lot is actually going to change. I can see people in the chat saying impressive, enlightened, I'm wowed. And definitely you can see a lot more of that. So when I think of myself, when I was actively doing lots of social media campaigns for clients, specifically from an influencer management perspective, I remember how much of a hassle it was to select which influencers to work with. And the major problem was you're young in career, you probably don't know all the influencers in the world. In fact, it even becomes worse when it's influencers who are not in your usual location. So for example, if you find out that you have to do a campaign with influencers in Uganda or Tanzania and you're a Kenyan, you'll definitely struggle a little bit. I must say that because then probably you don't know who the influencers are in those countries. So what I remember I used to do, I used to be in a number of WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups, and I just used to post which influencer can you recommend for an alcohol campaign, which influencer can you recommend for, this kind of campaign. And I remember sometimes it used to be so disheartening because sometimes people don't respond. Or sometimes people respond and, you end up having such a long, long list. And I remember when I first started using ChatGPT, that process was made a little bit easier because then I could come to ChatGPT and ask it, who would it recommend to be an influencer for maybe, let's say, World Cup campaign in Kenya, for example. And it would come up with suggestions, and we'll actually do that in a few minutes. But my point is, rather than spending so much time in tasks that probably you can have an assistant in the form of AI, in this case, ChatGPT as an example, why not use that, So when I remember how tedious that process was, it was, very, very hectic for me. And I know there are many influencer managers probably on this call. And in case you are, I'd be interested to know, how would you describe that process of just figuring out which influencer to work with, why work with them, what are probably their engagement rates? In one word, for me, it's hectic. What about you? What's your one word? And the reason why I'm asking that now is because then in a few minutes, you'll get to appreciate and see how simple it has become using ChatGPT. For those of us who just joined, we are currently talking about influencer marketing, and we're just about to do a demo of how you can use a platform like ChatGPT to help you select or shortlist which influencers to work with. So in a minute, you will see my screen again. And I'm going to keep it simple. And the reason why we're keeping it simple during this session, you may have heard Janet saying that we usually have a training for AI that is more detailed. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later. But this is just to give you an idea for those of us who've been curious to use AI and see how it can actually be incorporated into your digital marketing. So when it comes to influencer marketing, I can tell ChatGPT, please help me come up with a short list of the best Kenyan influencers to work with for a World Cup campaign, for example. And I can tell it, mention their names, social media handles, and why they would be the best. So before we post that, I want to remove the mention their name so that we see what will it give us first with. Please help me come up with a short list of the best Kenyan influencers to work with for our World Cup campaign. So I'll just post that prompt and you can see it will search. Sometimes it even goes to different websites on Google, and it helps you do that. I can see some comments in the chat. Someone is already asking, I'm scared of ChatGPT. What happens to originality and creativity? Good question. We will be tackling that in a few minutes. But already I'm seeing that lots of people's eyes are opening up to how much easier it can make your work. Of course, for the ethical people, you'll find them using it for the right reasons, I would say maybe help. For example, this probably, if you don't know influencers for sure, it's almost like just going on Google, but you're going on ChatGPT. But there's also that other side of creativity that can be killed, and I'll talk about it in a few minutes. But if you look at this output it's told us a curated list of influencers. We have Njugush, who is a top Kenyan comedian. It gives us some highlights, and it says his entertaining content is relatable, widely appealing, and all of that. So it mentions different ones. So we have Njugush, we have BN, Elsa Majimbo, we have something here called Team Kenya. Then we have the Mwitis. Those are just a few. We've not told it how many to give us. So you can imagine if you told it how many, it will probably give you more. But I want you to see the additional information I had removed. If I said something like rewrite the above, mention their names, social media handles, and why they'd be best, then I'll get different output. The point is, and you'll get to learn that more, is what you give it is what it will give you. The less information you give it, the less information it will give you. But the more information you give it, the more you get. So already, if you just focus on the output for Njugush, it says his handle, and it says why Njugush. It talks about what it had given us at the top. So his content is relatable, widely shared, making him perfect for an engaging and broad, diverse audience. So you can see it goes ahead to give you different reasons. So regardless of the campaign that you're actually doing, this is just one example of a way that you can use it to help you narrow down on the influencers. The final thing I want to add here, assuming you wanted to know what the engagement rate is, and this is something I've never tried, so let's try it. Let's see what it gives us. So maybe maybe you can say list the influencers average engagement rate, maybe on Instagram, for example. So you'll see it will go ahead, try search the web. If it can get that information, it will populate that. But if it can't, it will probably ask you to give it a little bit more information. So you can see it's not been able to give us specific information on the actual influencers, but it's gone general. So what am I trying to show you? Sometimes ChatGPT will have exactly what you need. Sometimes it may not. So this will just give you a general idea of what the influencers can give you. So in this case, then if you've been in the industry for a while, you probably use an engagement calculator tool where you put in the influencer's handle and it will tell you the exact influencer's engagement rate. So just like Google, depending on what you Google, sometimes you get exactly the results you want. Sometimes you may not get exactly what you want. So when you think of ChatGPT specifically for influencer marketing, this is just a sample of what it can do. And there's a lot more that it can do, of course, with a lot of experimenting. Maybe before I hand it over to Janet, or rather I'll hand it over to her. Janet, I'd love you to speak a little bit on the creativity aspect and originality. What do you think? Should we be scared? Should we stop using ChatGPT? What would you say when someone brings out that as a question or a comment?
First of all, there is nothing to be scared of when it comes to using AI. If anything, you're supposed to be completely terrified of not using it. And here's the reason. I mean, yes, there is the fact of originality, but again, as Melanie mentioned, what you feed it is what it gives you. So there's this thing that said GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So if you give it as much personalization as possible, it's also going to give you as much personalization as possible. But do not forget that even after it gives you something that looks perfect, you need to get back there yourself and rectify some points where you find necessary. And if not, then you can just use it as it is. But usually you can just go back and rectify whatever you want different. And there is really nothing to be scared of, because if you get to use AI like that, you're able to save so much time on the ideation and the typing and all that, because that's human labor. So, I mean, you should not be scared of it. I could not say that enough.
Oops, I totally agree. I also think we shouldn't be scared of it. I also usually say it's risky when new people in the space use ChatGPT, because then you're relying on all the information it's giving you, and you may not have the foundational skills for it. But if you do have the foundational skills, I think you can be very clever around how you use it to already improve on the skill you have. So for me, I feel it's very risky when you don't have the foundational skills, but when you do, you can actually, have a good time and make the best out of it. And so something that has prompted me to actually just dig into that question a bit more is because nowadays you see people saying, I know you wrote that with ChatGPT, whether it's an email, whether it's a document, whether it's a message, it's becoming a little bit obvious. For some people, it's becoming obvious with how the statements start. So for example, if you're on LinkedIn, many people who are using ChatGPT for their captions on LinkedIn start with, I'm thrilled. They almost sound the same. Then there's this like rocket emoji that everybody is using on LinkedIn, which AI, ChatGPT loves to generate. I'm sure some of you are relating to some of those examples, and you can see how specific I've been with the explanation. Many people are starting to tell when you've used AI, and that was not the point. The point was for it to help you, yes, make things a little bit easier, but not obvious for people to know, especially when you're looking at it from a client perspective. Then why am I paying you? I could have done it myself. And that's where the foundational skills come in handy, because then the client may not be able to generate what ideally you generate because they probably don't have the foundational skills, but also maybe they're not as good as prompting, which Janet talked about a few minutes ago. So in the spirit of similarity, we don't want you to be having similar emails, messages, captions out here. I'll hand it over to Janet to talk a bit about AI and email marketing, because then we're seeing lots of businesses incorporating the use of AI to improve their email marketing copy. Back to you, Janet.
Well, that's right. AI, I'm telling you, AI is like it's such a good thing to have around. Like, it's helping a lot, and I have a feeling that some channels that people have been, not have not been leveraging too much are now going to be leveraged in a lot, especially email marketing, because email marketing is one channel that many people, it's kind of, I would say it's underrated actually, because it's literally your inbox. You are inboxing your target audience. That is such gold. So, I mean, for you to keep talking to your audience directly like that, then, I mean, why not use AI? Why not use ChatGPT? And remember, while we keep talking about ChatGPT, remember that it has an app. You can download the app on Apple Store or Google Play Store. You can find it anywhere, so you should have it because it makes things very easy. So I'm going to give you an example of an email that I recently created. I made this email for a re-engagement campaign. So for email marketing, you have to know that there are still many campaigns. When you receive an email, there's a reason why it's been sent to your inbox. So usually it's for many reasons. It could be for promotion, that is promoting the service that whoever is sending you is promoting, or it could be saying hello, like after a while. That is called re-engagement, which is what I have. And of course, there's so many other examples, but for the sake of this demo, we're just going to talk about a re-engagement campaign email. And this is a real campaign. This is something I have actually done for a client of mine. So whatever you're going to be seeing is something, it's something that I'm using currently for a real client. So the words in brackets are supposed to be filled in automatically by AI. So again, that's another part that that's another part that AI helps in email. When you send bulk emails to your prospects, you don't get to fill in their names or their details. What is this word? You don't get to fill them in manually. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. You can do that automatically, and that's by AI. So this hey name, it's going to be it's going to be personalized to whoever is receiving the email. So if it's Andrew, it's going to be, hey, Andrew. If it's Boniface, it's going to be, hey, Boniface. If it's Brenda, hey, Brenda, right? You get the gist, right? So here's the thing. We are beginning by re-engaging the email list because this ideally is a group of people that have not heard from us in a while, right? And you want to talk to them and tell them that they should be expecting emails from you, because if you start bombarding a person with emails and probably that person forgot you, they're probably going to unsubscribe, and you do not want that. So we just have this bit of an email here, and we're going to like hype it up a little bit with the help of AI. And I'm just, as usual, I'm just going to copy it like that. I'm just going to highlight it and then copy it. But before I could read it for you a little bit quickly. So, hey, whoever, I was just looking through my files and saw your name. How you doing? I just wanted to touch base and check in. I'm not sure if you know this or not, but part of my mission is to impact and give back to hundreds of lives in our community over the next 12 months. To accomplish this, I'm going to be sharing some incredible information over the next few weeks that will be a total game changer to help you reach your health and wellness goals. So here is what we are selling. We're selling health and wellness goals services, like something to give them that. And so the email continues by, there is nothing for sale or anything like that. I just want to help where I can and make a difference in our community. This is because this is an email newsletter, right? So in the meantime, is there anything you need that I can help you with? So here we're prompting the person receiving the email to reach back to us and give us more information about them. And hopefully they're going to reach out and talk to us and, get a bit more engagement from that. So if you have any questions or need any help, don't hesitate to reach out. And the chat goes on like that and it's there. So again, we come back here to, hold on. Yes, here's where we were. So we just copy. I want to paste that email. Where is, hold on. Yeah. I want to paste it here. Hold on, no. Yeah, here. Here is the email that we have. And I'm going to prompt it this. This is another prompt that I had earlier. So for these clients of mine, we are targeting women in the States. So I want us to, in Kenya and in the States, and I'm just going to give you an example of how we can, just use a random target audience and see what we can do with that. So let's paste that prompt here. Personalize this, focusing on their desire for personal growth, clarity, and self-expression. So let's see what it generates. Again, this is a very, very brief prompt. In the actual training, we're going to get deeper in this because this is just for the sake of this demo. But this is what AI can do for you. From that, we get a bit of this. So you can see that it's talking to whether you're navigating your life in New York or Nairobi. So it's talking to them directly. So if this came to your inbox, you would possibly open it more because you can see things that relate to you if you're in Nairobi or if you're in New York. So yes, the next section, we're going to go back to Melanie because this is done for the demo section of the email. Melanie, over to you.
Thank you, Janet. I'm really glad that we talked about email because then I think one thing that many people struggle with, I would say, is getting people to, is it open their emails and so on and so forth. And I think for me personally, even when I talk about the next category just shortly, one of the benefits I've gotten from using AI when it comes to email marketing, for example, is I've noticed that ever since I started improving or writing my emails using ChatGPT, I've gotten more email opens because probably the email subject is more actionable or more attractive, or probably even because the email is just more engaging from beginning to the end. And I found it very interesting to sort of compare the results. I came from having an open rate of about 10 to 12% to now having about 40 to 50% of my email list opening my email. I'm the same person who was sending the emails before, so it was quite a surprise to me. The only change that happened is that I've now started rewriting my emails using ChatGPT. So it's quite interesting that you've used that as an example. I don't know if you've noticed the same, maybe in your experience. Have you noticed maybe a change in performance of emails since you started using ChatGPT to help you improve them?
Definitely. And I really highly think it's because of how seamlessly it's able to personalize everything way more or way better, I would say, way better than I would myself. It speaks to people like it actually knows them from such small like such a small piece of information makes such a huge difference. And of course, when someone feels like they're being talked to, of course they're going to open more likely than when they don't feel like they're being spoken to. So of course it's working for me too.
Amazing. Totally agree. And guys, that brings us to the part of results. It's not just about using AI tools for the sake of it, but are they actually helping you improve your marketing in one way or another? Or are you just using it for the sake for convenience purposes? At the end of the day, as a digital marketer, it's not just for your convenience, but it's also for how relevant is it when it comes to your target audience. That's something you need to really think about. And speaking of results, something that comes to my mind that I think of when it comes to how I've used ChatGPT before is, for those of you who know me, I do quite a lot of ads for clients, specifically Google Ads. And from a Google Ads perspective, if maybe we're doing a Google search ad, if you've experienced, can I say, digital marketing before, you'll notice that a lot of people struggle with Google search ads. And maybe if I can just share my screen, Janet, feel free to stop your share, then I'll just share shortly. If you look at it from Google Ads perspective, sometimes it can take quite a lot of time to set up a Google search ad, because Google search ads, for those of us who are new to it, are those ads that trigger when someone does a search on Google. So you have to think of what are some of the keywords or key phrases you need to put in when it comes to your ad, just to ensure that that ad actually triggers when someone does a search. And the biggest struggle that most digital marketers have when it comes to that is, how exactly can I get keywords when it comes to setting my ads? And one thing that has happened recently is that Google Ads has been so gracious to incorporate AI into the ad setup. And so as you're setting an ad, when you get to the point of asking Google Ads or Google Ads asking you to put in your keywords, there's actually a section where it tells you to put in keywords, and it actually tells you, if you'd like, you can use the AI feature they have inbuilt, which is called Gemini, which is another AI tool that you'll probably find people utilizing to help you come up with keywords. And so you'll find that Google has incorporated that when it comes to their setup, and for sure it's making work a lot easier. One thing that I've noticed, just like email, ever since I started incorporating the use of AI in my keyword search when it comes to setting up Google Ads, my Google Ads are performing much better in terms of keywords. Because the truth is, if you've set Google Ads before, then you know you may not be able to come up with so many keywords. And even when you do, sometimes not all of them may be relevant. So how then can you incorporate the inbuilt AI tool that Google has to make sure that your keywords are actually relevant? So in a few minutes, I just want to show you, for those of us who are new to Google Ads, where that is and what it's looking like, so that then you see it's not just about using ChatGPT as a tool alone, but we have some of the big companies, for example, Google Ads, incorporating AI tools within them. Google is specifically using an AI tool called Gemini. Works the same way as ChatGPT, but now they've incorporated it into the Google setup. So in a minute, you'll see my screen. And this is actually the Google setup process. And for those of us who have experienced it before, you ideally know previously, this is what you'd get: a screen where you put in your website or you put in the name of the service you want, and it generates keywords. But you can already see here on the side, it's suggesting for me to use AI, which they've suggested, Gemini. So if I can just switch back to the initial AI screen, just give me a minute. I will share my screen just a minute, but I just wanted you to see that ideally it's you who would have had, if your website doesn't have enough keywords, you would have had to manually come, think of as many keywords as possible. And at some point, it probably would have been very inconveniencing for you. One reason why I am loving the AI inbuilt direction when it comes to Google Ads is because I get very many keywords. Like I'm talking 20 to 50 to 100 keywords, probably that as a human being, that would have taken me a little bit more time to think about. Or in some cases, if you're in a difficult industry, it would have been almost impossible for you to come up with all those keywords. So if you look at my screen now, it's gonna show in a sec. This is the AI section of Google. They are testing it. So sometimes it has mistakes. So again, when you're using AI, please use your brain. If you see something is actually not what you anticipated it to be, please make sure you're checking out on that. So Google actually just asks you to put in your site. You put a little bit of a description of what your business does, and then you click generate. So once you click generate, it goes ahead to generate the keywords for you. So sometimes you realize as marketers, sometimes you think the more keywords you have, the better your ads will perform. But what this AI feature has taught me, sometimes you'll just have 10 keywords, but they'll be so effective. So it makes sure that it suggests relevant and effective keywords for you. So one benefit I've gotten from Google Ads is actually this. While it loads, I just want to show you what have the results been like. So if you can see my screen, I have a table here with some of the campaigns I'm running for a client. We started using the AI feature in 2024. So you can see 2023, we didn't use the feature. And for some of the ads, you can see the difference in performance. But one thing that I've noticed, we've had an increase in impressions. Basically how many people or how many times our ad has been seen. Fine, the interactions have gone down a little bit, but we are more on people's faces, which means our keywords are actually effective for people to actually search for them and find us. So clicks is now the issue. And of course, behind the scenes, there are things that you can do to help you improve on that. So I'll just go back to the screen. Let's see what it's loaded. There we go. So I've just posted a random company I found. They are a digital marketing agency. And you can see it's given us some keywords that could potentially do well for this ad. And the best part about it is it actually tells you on the side how the performance will be for these keywords. So it's up to you to now decide, does this make sense for you or not? So that's one of the ways I've personally been using Google Ads and AI features to help me improve. The final category we will be looking at just in a few minutes that is closely related to the Google Ads side is SEO, but maybe before I do that, someone is asking, is this feature within Google Ads or is it a separate ad? It's within Google Ads, but Gemini is actually an app that exists separately. But Google Ads has made it convenient for us. They've incorporated it within the Google Ads setup. So you can already see if it's beneficial on the ad side, helping your ads become more findable, that means it can also help you improve on where you can be found when it comes to a search engine. So basically where you rank when someone does a search either for your company name, a product or service you're offering. And Janet is going to be taking us through that just shortly. So Janet, over to you.
Wow, I really like the fact that AI helps you stop being unnecessary. Like it simply just gives you so much quality over quantity because who would have thought the more keywords does not mean more conversions or higher performance. I thought that was very interesting. So anyway, very closely to what AI does for sponsored marketing, let's go to search engine optimization, which is a very interesting and vast bit of digital marketing. So if you've done anything to do with SEO before, you know how time consuming it is. You know how manual the keyword research is. You've just seen that in the Google Ads bit. The keyword research is a very lengthy process. You don't want to keep doing that for more than a brand. I mean, it's a lot. So you can only imagine how well AI could help in things like audits or tweaking content, especially where you need to update your content, to stay relevant or to update important things that have changed over time. So I'm just going to give you a bit of examples of like what AI can do for you in terms of search engine optimization. This one is not going to have a demo because it is just very detailed. So I'm just going to show you, like, to just take you through what it can do. The first thing that AI can do, of course, I've mentioned keyword research. It's so important to know the correct keywords to use, because if you're not talking the correct things to whoever you want to talk to, then you're simply not talking to them. That's how marketing simply is. If you're speaking, you might be speaking something very well, but speaking to the wrong person, that's it, you've lost it. So the keyword research piece is very helpful AI is very helpful when it comes to the keyword research piece. And I'm just going to tell you more tools. Apart from ChatGPT, the one that we keep on talking about here, more tools that can help in keyword research. So there's this tool called SEMrush, and it helps a lot in keyword research. And you're able, through tools like SEMrush and another one called Ahrefs, they use AI to identify high impact keywords. As you've seen Melanie do, that was AI there, but just built in Google Ads. So when you're doing SEO, because everybody has their own website, you sometimes need to use third-party tools. And this is where you get to use tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs, which use AI. So again, for you to be able to do that, you need to be able to be conversant with AI, and again, not be afraid of AI. Another way that you can use AI in SEO, when I say SEO, just know it's search engine optimization. And I did not even tell you what search engine optimization is. It's basically, I'm just going to give you in the layman terms, when you search something on Google, say like AI training, where you're going to see the first option, second, third, going on like that. So whatever is making them be ranked like that, from the first one to the last one in the first page, the second one moving on, that is SEO. So SEO is able to do that by the use of keywords. And this is very closely to what I'm talking about in the sense of content optimization, because you want what you're speaking to people be something that is as seamless as possible to speak to them directly. And I'm trying to avoid the word optimize because I don't want to repeat the same jargon, but I hope you understand what I'm saying when I say content optimization, because AI helps a lot in suggesting improvements and, boosting rankings. And of course, apart from that, we also have predictive algorithms which tell you what to do and what is about to happen. So just tell you to focus on strategy by automating repetitive tasks and providing actionable insights. And again, automating repetitive tasks, you could do that by using AI and automate whatever you can whenever you can, which is why we train on AI. We want you to get these skills that are going to help you do as much as you can in as little time and energy as possible. We want you, this is actually what I want for you. I want you to be able to be as confident as possible that regardless of whether you're sleeping, traveling, working, things are running behind the scenes. And that's why we are introducing you to this training that we are running. It's going to go between the 3rd and 5th of December. And it's going to be great. This is just a teaser. This is, if you feel like this is insightful, then I don't even, I'm almost speechless. You don't know what's in store for you in the training. And we want you to come in. We want you to gain this because it's going to help you for a fact. You need to see what AI is doing in the industries that exist under the sun. Everybody is talking about AI right now. And the good thing about AI, it does not matter in which industry you belong to. Also, digital marketing. It does not matter where you are from or what you're doing currently. You can still do it because everybody needs an online presence these days to sell online. And selling online is where everything world is at. So we have a training I mentioned that's going to be running for 3 days, 2 hours each day, and it's going to be very intensive. It's going to have demos, it's going to have Q&As, group work, and we're going to be dealing with your own choice of brands. And it could be something you're actually a real brand that you're actually working on, or something made up that you're thinking of working on, or just fantasizing about, right? So we're going to do all that in action in that training. And the training for the 3 sessions, we are charging in Kenyan shillings. We are charging 4,000 shillings for the 3 days, the 6 hours. And for what you're going to get from that, it is completely invaluable. I could not insist on this enough. I would not be using my time to tell you about something that I know does not work. I mean, so this is something very helpful. And we mentioned that there's going to be a gift at the end of the training. And here's the gift. We're going to give you 500 shillings off, and it's going to be 3,500 shillings for everybody who has joined in and on this call, and everybody in the waiting list, because I'm aware that there are people in the waiting list. So as long as you signed up for this, you can leverage this amazing offer of 500 shillings off, which is valid until the end of the month. You do not want to miss this. I do not want you to, because you need to, if you're here, then you know that you need to get yourself trained in this. I mean, see, I'm speechless. It's amazing. So sign up. Okay, so Melanie, back to you. I am done for what I have planned for you.
Thank you so much, even for mentioning the call to action. Guys, we look forward to seeing you during the training. If you'd like to learn more, I can see in the chat, someone is asking, how do we sign up? I am sharing the link to sign up on the chat just shortly. It goes to a landing page where you get to learn more, but also sign up. So in case you want to know exactly what we'll cover, it's also on that link. Of course, we'll send that on email as well. Someone else is asking, can we have access to the recording after? Yes, definitely. We will be sharing that and you'll be able to access it. Someone else had asked, are there AI tools that can tell that you've used another AI tool? Janet, do you want to take that?
Yes. Yes, and it's very funny how AI is literally telling on itself. But I have a sneaky way to get around it. Don't tell anyone I'm the one who told you this. I might get in trouble, or maybe not. So there's this thing, again, it's AI. So the interesting thing about AI, it's going against itself, then again and again and again. And it's called a humanizer. So the same thing that's able to identify what's AI generated, you're able, whatever we got today in whatever. Oh, by the way, I'm going to share the ChatGPT prompts that I did if you want to look over the chat again. So I'm saying that's whatever we got from ChatGPT. You just pick it like that, and then you go to Google and search AI humanizer. It's simply like humanizer, the word human, and then IZER, humanizer. And then you just paste it there and then humanize the AI generated content. Then take the paraphrased text, take it back to the humanizer and humanize again. So that text you're going to get cannot be detected by AI. But maybe by the time I was discovering this, maybe we have already been caught by AI. So keep tuned. I'm going to be giving some updates here and there about AI. You can follow my LinkedIn. I post about AI there because it keeps changing a lot. But so far, that's what I know. You can have fun with AI as much as you want, as long as you humanize it.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I don't see any other question in the chat. Maybe you can give it a minute. If you have a question, please feel free to raise your hand so that we can tackle it on audio. I'll give people permission to speak. But if no question, feel free to let us know in one word, how are you feeling after today's session? Write it in the chat. In one word, how are you feeling after today's session? If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and I will give you permission to unmute. But from Janet and I, as we wait for that, thank you so much for joining in. This was great. I've also learned quite a bit. Looking forward to the training next week for those of us who are going to be joining. I can see the one words coming in the chat, people saying, I feel enlightened and reassured, informed, happy. Bravo, nice. Someone is asking what are your social media handles. I will be posting a link to my LinkedIn and Janet's LinkedIn on the chat so that you can be able to, connect with us on that side. I hope LinkedIn is okay. If you want another platform, please just let us know as well. But yeah, let's keep the one words coming in. How are you feeling in one word after today's session? Feel free to let us know in the chat. For me, I'm feeling fulfilled. Janet, what about you?
Melanie, you stole my word. I am feeling fulfilled. I am completely fulfilled. I'm very happy. I cannot wait to see who we're going to have on the actual training. I am just elated, as you can tell. Thank you so much for coming, everybody.
Amazing. I'm seeing a question that has come in. Someone else is saying, can the reg prompt M-Pesa payment since you have to paste the message AI? Oh gosh, you've overthought.
Gosh.
You would be rich. But thank you so much, everyone. I can see the one words coming in. Thank you so much. I think from me, that is it. Feel free to drop off at your own pleasure. Janet and I will stay for 2 more minutes just in case anyone has a question they would like to ask.
I was asking, allow me to ask a question. There, where you're going to register, since you're saying someone to paste the message once they have paid, is there a way it can prompt you to pay once you enter your number to pay through M-Pesa? That's what I meant, like to prompt you to enter PIN and the amount.
Oh, okay. On
Make
our
it
side,
easy. Yes, on your end.
not yet. We have not gotten to that level of integration, but we appreciate.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fine.
That's a good idea, though.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Please
since
bear
you're
with us
talking
and go
about
manual.
technology, we're avoiding manual work.
Sometimes, yes. All right. But sometimes it's, especially that, sometimes easier said than done, but definitely good idea. Working on it. We can go manual for now, kindly.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question? All right, so I think that is it. We will be ending the call in a minute. Yeah, so feel free to drop off and have a great night. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. Bye.